everyone, welcome back to another Batman miniature game battle report, 2nd edition. I guess I should start clarifying that since Night Models are hinting at a potential 3rd edition already. But we've got 350 rep of the Brave and the Bold going up against 350 rep of the Court of Owls today. It's going to be the last showing of this particular layout on this table. I'm going to stick with the winter theme as we're into the winter months, but I think the next thing we're going to be filming after this is a DC game, and we're just going to wreck the map. Just chuck everything, clear it out, build up from the rubble, and start again. Anyway, let's go take a look at the crews fighting today. So here's the 350 rep of Brave and the Bold being led by Multiverse Batman, the 80th anniversary model, which is wonderful. He's taken the upgraded cowl, or whatever it is, that gives him +1 endurance, which puts him at 10 endurance, so he's pretty beefy. We've already seen him in a DC game, but he acts a little bit differently in this one. He also is being flanked by Damian Wayne and Batgirl. Batgirl's the sidekick, Damian Wayne's just a henchman. Speaking of which, he has handcuffs. Then we have Arkham Guard 1, 2 and 3 for the rest of the points. The 2 with guns have extra magazines, and that is it. And then objectives, the bat signal, ammo, and medical. And the Court of Owls crew is being led by Lincoln Marsh as always, flanked by Henry Ballard, Strix, the 1980s Talon, and bringing back the Gotham Butcher. Those that do not have fast have been given it via the genetic mutation. Strix has an extra bit of ammunition for more throwing knives, and I think that was everything. Their objectives are Owls, Loot, and Titan. So it's going to be Skirmish, Scenario 4 today. That's the one where you get to the action relatively quickly because you've got an 8-inch deployment. 8-inch deployment, it also means objectives are a bit more freely placed because they're not limited by like 4 inches. Bonus objective for killing the opposing leader, and then 50% of your total reputation. Done that many times before. So the Court of Owls have deployed on this side. They basically all deployed together, more or less, because the 80th anniversary Multiverse Batman has a power where after everybody's deployed, he deploys, and he can deploy anywhere. And if he deploys, oh, there's one of my dog's hairs. If he deploys touching enemy miniatures, they have to do a roll or start knocked over. Now he's not going to want to be surrounded by them because as tough as he is, he can't take on 5 assassins at once. But because they took the bat signal has been placed on this building up here, which does not have a sewer grating on it, and he is started next to it so he can switch it on turn 1. That seems perfectly legal. Now the Court of Owls, like Lincoln, can fly. Strix at the very least has climbing claws, so they can climb the bar to get to him. It's not like they literally can't get to it, but that seems like the best use for him because otherwise he would just get swarmed. Anyway, the Brave and the Bold ammo is there, medical is there, got some lamps on here. Owls are set up there, all the way over by the loot, and then right here next to the Titan. And then we've got Batgirl, Damian next to the sewer grating, the Arkham Guard with the shotgun, and then the other 2 Arkham Guards over here. So that covers everything pre-game, I believe. All that remains to be seen is who is going to be getting first activation. Batman logo for the Brave and the Bold, and I think it's pink for Court of Owls. And it will be the Brave and the Bold going first. So a simple start, the Arkham Guard with the baton just moved up his full allowance out of deployment up to there, basically forcing the Court of Owls to make a bit of a decision here about whether or not they deal with the big bad bat, or if they try and cut off the Arkham Guards going for the objectives. The Gotham Butcher activated and has barreled up all the way. He couldn't quite make it to the loot, but he stopped and destroyed the lamppost there, plunging that area into darkness. 2 quick activations to cover. Batgirl activated. She did not have enough movement to get to the loot, so instead she opted just to take the sewer grating for the Brave and the Bold, and has ended up there on the highest roof on the battlefield. Then for the Court of Owls, Henry Ballard activated, and he just moved up as best he could, kind of below the same building there, also heading towards the loot, and just staying out of Big Batman's way for now. Damian activated next, and he used his Batclaw to get all the way over to the loot and pick it up, so he's now holding it. It's just there for now just to show it, but it'll be on his card after that. For the Court of Owls, the 1980s Talon has moved up, using the car for cover next to the owl objective, hoping perhaps to cut off poor old Arkham Guard, insert number here. The Arkham Guard with the non-lethal shotgun is moving up to back Damian up. He did not fire though, he's just kind of putting himself in a position for next turn. Then for the Court of Owls, Strix activated. She has climbing claws, so she can clamber up the XXX bar to get to Batman, but she couldn't make it from where she started this turn, so instead she is guarding the ammo to stop him just dropping onto it to claim another 3 points at the end of the turn. So now there's either Batman or Arkham Guard, whichever number it is, with the assault rifle to go, and then Lincoln to end the turn. So 2 more activations to cover. The Arkham Guard with the assault rifle has moved up to back up his chum there, and then Lincoln had to activate. Well, he was going to pass, because Court of Owls have a pass. 2 maybe. But Both Batgirl and Batman have detectives, so they can counter a pass, forcing him to activate. So he flew from where he was up to the big bat up here. He unleashed 5 owl knife attacks for rerolling on hits and wounds, so he was hitting on 5s, wounding on 3s, plus the 5+ chance for bat armor to negate any hits. And all said and done, he did 1 blood, which is the bonus 1 blood Batman started with for taking the upgraded cowl. So now Big Bats is either going to retaliate or do something else to end off Battle Round 1. So Multiverse Batman is ending off Battle Round 1. Forgot to mention he can only be targeted by people in base to base with him, and when a model enters base to base, whether it be him moving into base to base or them moving into base to base with him, they have to successfully do a willpower roll or receive the scared effect. Lincoln passed his. He dropped down after switching on the bat signal for 1 movement. Dropped down behind the Butcher. Butcher also passed his willpower roll. Unleashed 5 attacks, re-rolling hits. I think 4 got through, and then sadly rolled 3 1s, 4 1s or whatever. Yeah, 4 1s on 5 attacks. No, he had 5 attacks to start with. 3 1s on 4 attacks for the wound roll, but he did get the crit, so that is 2 stun from reinforced gloves, plus the 1 extra for 3 stun to the Gotham Butcher. He's just going down there to kind of protect Damian, essentially. So that takes us to the end of Battle Round 1. We'll be back with recovery and recap. So that was an interesting Battle Round 1 with a lot more posturing than I thought there would be, but lots of planning to kind of stop people getting objectives, but also being scared of the big Batman. The Gotham Butcher recovered 1 of his stuns, so he's just got the 2 on him now as we go into Battle Round 2. In terms of victory points, Damian took the loot, putting him in a very precarious situation for the next turn, but that is 1 victory point. The bat signal has been switched on for 3 victory points, and the Court of Owls scored nothing that turn. Although it's all to play for, rather, as we go into Battle Round 2. There's going to be a lot of fighting in Battle Round 2, and it will be the Court of Owls going first. The Gotham Butcher got Battle Round 2 started, ignored Batman and charged straight into Damian. Damian got exceptionally lucky. 5 claw attacks, only 1 got through the hit roll, needed 4s to hit and rolled a bunch of 3s and 2s. The 1 hit did get through. Damian tried to use 2 defense dice to protect against it and failed. So 1 blood, 1 stun from the claws, but otherwise he is standing. He only has 5 endurance though, so he's got 3 left. So without much of a choice, thanks to Henry Ballard being nearby as well, Damian activated. He didn't have much to move because he had to spend a movement counter to move with the loot. So he's fallen back as best he can, looking to the Arkham guard with the shotgun for help. But the Butcher is fast, so he can definitely keep up with him, so it's going to be a problem. Bit of an awkward angle here, but Strix activated and she was next to the ammo, but opted to move over there into base to base with the large Batman. 3 katana attacks, and the Multiverse Batman opted to use 3 defense dice to block against the 2 attacks that got through. Rolled 3 6s, so no damage. Strix did pass her willpower roll also upon getting into base to base with him. Multiverse Batman activated and ignored Strix, chasing after the Butcher instead. This time managed to do 4 stun to him with his reinforced gloves. The Butcher failed his willpower roll upon being into base to base, but it doesn't matter if his turn. Scared just means -1 to hit rolls and block rolls, but he had no block rolls because he was going all in on killing Damian. And it also means you can't use the dodging range attack ability, but that's not relevant here either. So 4 stun, that puts him at 6 stun in total on him, and he has 8 endurance. The 1980s Talon activated and came out from where she was hiding, charged into the baton-wielding Arkham guard. He is lucky that he has hockey gear, which counteracts the sharp rule because she rolled a couple of 2s on her hits. Still, 1 got through and wounded him for 2 blood. Batgirl activated, making use of her bat cape to just glide down, and she has sneak attack, so she attacked Henry, denying him defense dice, although he didn't actually have any. She whiffed quite badly despite unleashing 6 attacks, 4 plus combo unarmed. She doesn't have reinforced gloves though, so they're only 1 stun each, so 1 stun in total to Henry. Actually, Henry has invulnerability, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. So invulnerability actually counters that, so Henry took nothing this battle round. So a pass wanted to be used, but it was countered by Detective. Henry activated. He wanted to get into base to base with Damian, but couldn't manage it, so he instead opted to hit Batgirl and then move as best he could, still using the wall for cover around there because the Arkham guard with the shotgun has not activated. He did well. He got the crit plus a match, so that's 2 blood, 1 stun, and well, sorry, the 2 blood come from the what is he using? It's the 2 wounds from the L knife plus the bonus stun from the crit, plus it was a match, so it's a knockdown as well. So she got hurt quite badly there. So now I think that's all the owls. No, Lincoln hasn't gone yet, so we've still got all the Arkham guards and Lincoln. The Arkham guard with the shotgun activated, the riot gun, and from where he was standing he shot, instead of Henry, he shot into the Butcher. And as you can see, he did a staggering 6 stun, which knocked out the Gotham Butcher, so that's a free agent knocked out. He did that much damage because the 2 hits got through for 2 stun each, and he critted, and the shotgun has crit blunt 2 on it, so if you get a critical, instead of doing the normal blunt extra damage, which is 1 stun, it does what it says, which is blunt 2, so it did 2. So the Gotham Butcher is well and truly unconscious. He then opted to move, just kind of blocking Damien a little bit to help protect him. So now it's over to Lincoln Marsh to end the Court of Owl turn, and then the 2 Arkham guards down here for the Brave and the Bold. So for the last few activations of Bat Round 2, Lincoln had no choice but to stay up there and turn off the bat signal, so it's off now, so it'll be generating the Court of Owls 1 victory point at the end of the turn. Over here, the baton-wielding Arkham guard tried to smack the 1980s Talon, failed, and then just kind of moved around to there, clearing the way for the Assault Rifle 1 to point blank, well not point blank literally, but very close, shoot into her, whiffed on his hit rolls. He then fled back the way, basically trying to make her choose between which one she's going to go after, and whichever one she doesn't might make a mad sprint for over here to get objectives. So that takes us to rest and recovery for Battle Round 2. So at the end of Battle Round 2, the Gotham Butcher has woken up, so he's just knocked down now. Batgirl and Damien have recovered their stun. They've still got blood damage, but that's all their stun gone. In terms of victory points gained, the Court of Owls got 1 victory point for the bat signal being switched off. The Brave and the Bold got 1 for Damien holding the loot, and 3 for knocking out the Gotham Butcher prior to him waking up, obviously. So with that, we're poised to go into Battle Round 3. Let's see who is going first in that round. It's equal chance, and it's going to be, Court of Owls again. To get Battle Round 3 started, Henry Ballard activated. He doesn't have Martial Artists, so he couldn't tie up the Arkham Guard with the shotgun as well, so he's just moved into base to base with Damien. He released, unleashed 4 attacks, got 2 of them through for 2 blood plus a crit and match, so that's an extra stun and knockdown. Damien's on 1 endurance now and in a very dangerous position. Multiverse Batman activated, and he couldn't get past the Gotham Butcher's body sitting on the floor because he's not an acrobat, so he opted to go into Strix instead. Did well on his hits but did poorly on his wound rolls, so only 1 punch got through. Did 2 stunned her, and that is it. She starts at what, 6 endurance I think it is? Yeah, so she's got 4 left. The Gotham Butcher got up and charged down the alleyway. He couldn't get into base to base with Damien, so he attacked the Arkham Guard with the Riot Shotgun instead. Got 1 claw attack through for 1 blood, 1 stun. The Riot Cop used 2 defense and he just lost a dice there, so he doesn't have enough left over now to shoot his gun this turn, which is unfortunate. Back over to the Brave and the Bold, see what they can do. The Arkham Guard with the Assault Rifle activated, shot his second of 3 total times he can shoot his gun at the 1980s Talon, did 3 blood from 1 hit getting through, plus a crit for the extra stun damage there as well. She's got 2 endurance left. He then just kind of moved back a little bit, but he still doesn't have line of sight of the mess that's happening in this alleyway over there. The 1980s Talon activated next, and as you can see she kind of blocked off this Arkham Guard, attacked him, and did 2 blood to him. He already had 2, so he is on 1 endurance remaining. She wasn't able to quite knock him out, which is a shame, because the L objective there would have given her 1 extra victory point for gaining a victory point in its 4-inch bubble. Now it's over to the Brave and the Bold, who still have... they have the Arkham Guard himself, plus Batgirl. So we're actually just going to cover the rest of the activations for the battle round, because there was just a lot of shuffling around for the Brave and the Bold side, and the Court of Owls have mostly gone already. Will say, forgot to mention that the Brave and the Bold in the alleyway have not done anything, although both have so few counters that didn't expect much. Just goes to show rather, you should still definitely roll dice, as we'll see in a second. Anyway, the baton-wielding Arkham Guard couldn't do anything because he just had 1 movement counter left over, so he's just fleeing from the 1980s Talon as best he can. If we go over to the alley though, the turn that matters is Damien's. So he was there, he opted to drop the loot, still touching the Arkham Guard though, and then moved around it. He's an acrobat, so he can move around it. Into base to base, he only had 1 die, so he did 1 attack with his katana. It actually got through and crit, so he did the 2 blood from the katana. Oh, I just realised, keep forgetting, with Damien, if you're in the Brave and the Bold, he only does stun damage. It's not actually relevant because the Gotham Butcher is not dead, he's just knocked out again, but yeah, that should not be blood damage, that should actually just be 3 stun damage in total. The important part is though that the Gotham Butcher is knocked out again, He doesn't give up points again, but at least he's less of a threat. Still Henry Ballard there, obviously. So yeah, 3 stun damage, totally forgot. That's the first hit he's landed, so it hasn't mattered. Over here, Lincoln dropped down, attacked Multiverse Batman, did better, and as compared to his compatriots, did 2 blood to him, so that's him actually taking some damage now. And then Batgirl stood up, backclawed up to here, and has switched the bat signal back on. And that takes us to the end of the battle round 3. At the end of battle round 3, the Gotham Butcher has woken up again with the exact same roll again, weirdly, of 2 2s. So he's awake, he's just knocked down again. Let's see, the 1980s Talon recovered the 1 stun she had on her. Damian did not. The riot gun using Arkham Guard did, so he's just got the 1 blood damage on himself now. In terms of victory points gained, the Brave and the Bold have the loot. They have the bat signal switched on again for 3. And the Court of Owls got nothing. So although the Court of Owls are starting to make the Brave and the Bold very bloody when that blood damage is not going away, the Brave and the Bold are way ahead in points currently. I think that might start to shift now as we go into battle round 4 because everyone is so wounded. The Court of Owls are going to start killing people and then it's going to be a problem. But going first in the next battle round, more likely to be the Brave and the Bold, and indeed it is. So to get battle round 4 started, Damian activated. He swung 1 attack against the Gotham Butcher who was still knocked down. It went through, it re-knocked him out. He then spent the required counters to arrest him, so the Gotham Butcher now counts as a casualty and has been removed. He then just moved his base movement, which isn't very much in the grand scheme of things, to get a little bit away from Henry Ballard. So in retaliation, Henry activated, he has picked up the loot, he attacked the Arkham Guard, and managed to whiff spectacularly with his wound rolls, which he wasn't allowed to re-roll because of hockey gear. But he does hold the loot now, so it will start generating points for the Court of Owls. Batgirl activated and she glided down off the building, down to here. She attacked Strix with 6 attacks in total, only 1 got through, so Strix took 1 stun, and that's despite her having sneak attacks, so no defense dice could be used, it was just bad rolling. Strix retaliated and attacked Batgirl with 3 attacks, and as you can see, 2 blood, 1 stun thanks to the crit got through. That puts Batgirl at 1 HP remaining. She was also knocked down, so it'll be interesting once Lincoln's turn rolls around how he's going to split his attacks, but that is a great danger there of losing a sidekick. Multiverse Batman activated, he put 4 attacks into Strix, and as you can see by the lack of dice, he did nothing. Despite rerolling to hits, his wound rolls were just embarrassingly bad for the 3rd turn in a row. Not really a fantastic showing of how good this Batman can be, honestly. It's just absolutely horrendous rolls. So that's a spot of bother. Back over to the Court of Owls now, see what they can do. The 1980s Talon activated, and as you can see, she has moved into base to base with the extendable baton. Arkham Guard did 2 blood to him and has killed him. So it's 1 blood for the first knockout, 1 blood for casualty, 1 blood, 1 victory point for knockout, 1 victory point for casualty, plus a bonus 1 victory point for gaining within 4 inches of that L marker there. So things are starting to swing around into the Court of Owls' favour. The riot gun wielding Arkham Guard backed up from Henry Ballard and tried to shoot into him with his last round of ammunition, rate of fire 1, and missed. Then Lincoln Marsh activated, he had 5 attacks, he opted to put 2 of them into Batgirl to try and finish her off, 3 into the Multiverse Batman, and sure enough, he did 2 blood to Batgirl, killing her, so she is a sidekick casualty. The ones against Batman did not get through to him though. So now it's just the Arkham Guard with the assault rifle to end off the battle round. So from where he was standing, the Arkham Guard with the assault rifle shot off his last rounds of ammunition into the 1980s Talon, did very well, 4 blood plus the crit for an extra stun. She is dead. He then just waddled along 4 inches, couldn't get into base to base with the Titan, but is just moving over there. All ammunition used up now though, except for Strix's, and that takes us to rest and recovery, or recovery and recap rather, for Battle Round 4. So as we cover the end of Battle Round 4, we're not 100% convinced Damian got an activation that round, but he only had stuff in defense, expecting Henry Ballard to attack him, so it's irrelevant, he couldn't have attacked. In terms of recovery though, Damian did recover a stun, so that gives him some more counters to play with next time, because he's back to just 3 damage on his card. There was no one else who's just unconscious, it's all bleed damage. In terms of victory points, the bat signal has given the Brave and the Bold 3. They took out the 1980s Talon for 2, and then also forgot the reanimated L roll, which gives a bonus of 1, and that's also bonus 1 on top of the 1 for arresting the Gotham Butcher as well. The Court of Owls took out a sidekick for a total of 4 victory points. They have the loot again, or loot this turn rather, for 1 victory point. And they took out the baton wielding henchman in range of an owl for a total of 3 victory points. So they brought it back a little bit, but the bat signal was helping keep the Brave and the Bold out in front. As we go into the penultimate turn, it is even chances for who will be going first, and it is the Court of Owls. So to get the penultimate battle round started, Lincoln Marsh activated for the Court of Owls. He only had 4 attacks this time because he had his dice distributed elsewhere. He put them into Multiverse Batman, only got 1 through for 1 blood. But then he activated Fly, moved up here, and has switched off the bat signal. So now it's generating points for the Court of Owls again. So we're staying down here because Multiverse Batman activated, punched into Strix, this time managed to do 1 hit through, which did 2 stun to her. He then pulled back, not much reason to pull back other than if she wants to attack him, she has to get into base to base, which means passing a willpower roll again. That's literally the only reason. Back over to the court now to see what they can do with their limited remaining models. Henry Ballard activated next, and he is still pursuing that kill on Damian Wayne. Managed to do only 1 blood to him, 2 defense dice used. That's Damian at 4 blood now, so he's got 1 endurance remaining. He's hanging in there, but it's not looking good. So we're just going to go over the final activations of Battle Round 5. Things are going quick now that both sides are losing miniatures. The right gun using Arkham Guard just moved up, didn't have anything in movement, so couldn't get into point, base to base rather, with Henry. The assault rifle using 1 took the sewer grating here, and he popped out all the way over here, and as you can see by the 1 damage on him, Strix decided to go after him rather than chase Batman. Throwing knives at him, only 1 got through for 1 damage, and he was on his way to the ammo. So that takes us to the end of the turn. We'll be back with recovery and recap. So at the end of Battle Round 5, only Strix had the chance to get stun damage recovered, and she did not. The Brave and the Bold earned no victory points this turn. The Court of Owls got 1 for the bat signal being switched off, 1 for the loot, and I believe that's it, although Damian is at risk of going down in the final turn. So we already know the Brave and the Bold are getting first activation in the final turn, which might be relevant. There's the icon just in case. Let's go see what happens. So to get the final battle round started, Damian activated and he had no choice but to flee. So he has been chased rather, into the sewer grating and has popped out there. Anybody who follows him won't be able to attack, so that means he is safe and will not die. Amazingly, maybe even the first time he hasn't died in a battle report. Strix activated, chased down the Arkham Guard with the assault rifle, did 4 blood to him and has killed him. So that is 2 more victory points to the Court of Owls. So real quick, we're just going to cover the final activations that mattered. Batman just fell back a little bit. Lincoln Marsh gave chase, tried to attack him and failed with the attacks he did have. And then over here, Henry Ballard just moved into contact with the Titan to capture that for the Court of Owls. So now we're on to the final conclusion. So in that final turn, the Brave and the Bold got no victory points. The Court of Owls got 1 for the bat signal being off, 1 for Henry holding the loot, and 2 for Henry claiming the Titan. So quite a lot of points gained there in the end. However, thanks to Damian getting away, it very nearly could have been a draw, but it was a Brave and the Bold victory at 20 victory points to 17. So the Court of Owls came close. If Damian would have died, it would have been 1 for KO plus 1 for casualty plus 1 for him being invaluable. So that would have brought it to a draw. I do feel like Multiverse Batman kind of got the short end of the stick this round, because he just had 3 rounds where, despite having hit rerolls for being a close combat master, he couldn't do what he's capable of. He got very unlucky, and he was mostly hitting people with defense 4 as well, so it wasn't like he was hitting people that were hard to hit and then he's strength 3 plus. Just got a little unlucky, I feel. But he is powerful, he is potent. I'm not sure how things would have went if the bat signal hadn't been brought, because that was 3 turns where it gave victory points to the Brave and the Bold and 3 where it gave points to the Court of Owls. So even, although obviously it's 3 versus 1 each time it procs, and him being able to start next to it immediately to turn it on, otherwise it would have been, turn 3 would have been switched on by Batgirl and Lincoln would have just turned it off the next turn. So yeah, I think taking him with the bat signal was definitely a plus point. If it had been another Batman, maybe not, because it would have given the Court of Owls a couple of extra victory points, for sure, and that might have evened things up a little bit. Still, that was a fun one. I'm hoping this is going to be very timely when it's posted with the reveal of a new Arkham game about the Court of Owls, because they've been hinting at it for a long time now, and we're waiting for it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. We're going to do a DC Miniatures game battle report on this map, to wreck it, throw buildings and whatnot, and then we'll be back with a different layout for the next Batman report. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the future. Ta-ta for now.